Hey, good afternoon. I'm Heather Sullivan, your host of Sullivan Smart Sense. Thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate you taking a little time out of your midday to join us. As you know, we meet here every Tuesday to try and help you find different ways to save money. We're living in such a crazy time with inflation and rising interest rates, and the cost of everything just keeps going up and up and up. And I've been wanting for a while to do a show on groceries because I know that's a biggie for everybody. The price of meat, the price of eggs, dairy, produce, everything has been climbing. And I know that's making it really hard for a lot of families. I've talked to a lot of people that have said, yeah, they've had to cut back on how much food they're buying, what they're buying, making a lot of changes. And so, as you know, I love to bring in my favorite guests, my favorite experts on each topic every week. So today we're going to be talking with an expert from dealnews.com, which is a fabulous site. I want you to check it out when you have a chance. By the way, they can help you save money on a lot of things. But we're going to be talking with a consumer analyst, Julie Ramhold, who's going to help us find ways, lots of ways, that we can cut down our grocery bill every week. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Julie Ramhold from dealnews.com. So great to have you with us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I know no one has a crystal ball, but let's first talk about, we're seeing the Fed just recently announcing again another interest rate hike, which is supposed to help curb inflation. But it seems like every time we go to the grocery store, prices have gone up again. Do you have any thoughts on what we might continue to see in terms of grocery prices moving forward from here?
Sure. So I think the big thing is that they've kind of stabilized in some areas, but that also means that if they're at a higher price, they're going to kind of hang out there. And so they're not really going to drop. Obviously, for some things like eggs, we may see the price kind of drop back down because the egg supply was basically impacted by a bird flu outbreak.
Right.
And we've also seen prices climbing on meat, and especially ground beef lately has been in trouble because there's been a recall on those products because of an E. coli outbreak. So, seeing those prices climb related to those things and obviously a stinted supply is, that will give us the chance to kind of come down a little bit and even out on those when things get more regulated. But as a whole, I think the higher grocery prices are kind of here to stay.
Not good news. That's a hard thing to swallow.
It really is.
All right, well, let's dive right into it. There are lots of ways that consumers can kind of tackle the grocery bill. So I think one of the most important things that really helps, of course, is planning ahead. So let's talk a little bit about meal planning and kind of making a plan for when you go to the grocery store.
Definitely. I'm a big proponent of meal planning because I know that if I don't, I will fall back on takeout, whether it's, something from one of the food delivery brands, from a fast food restaurant because I'm just that lazy, or if it's something like just ordering pizza. It's really easy, but that can come at a detriment because it can add up so quickly. So I'm a firm believer in checking out the sales ads for your favorite grocery stores and trying to meal plan around those. It can make things a little interesting, actually. It's simple to fall into a rut and kind of make the same things over and over and over again. But I found that by looking at what's going to be on sale for the upcoming week, it's like, oh, what can I do with this thing that I've never done before? Or maybe I can make this dish that's normally made with chicken, but swap it out for pork or something like that. And so it kind of broadens the horizons for different things that you can make. And you may find some new favorite recipes. You may be able to try recipes that the grocery stores highlight. Very often, I will see them highlight something like a special dish with chicken, or maybe it's Italian week. So they have things like Italian sausage on sale and entire recipes built around it. So it can definitely sort of liven things up and get you out of that rut and keep you from falling back on fast food.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is the fastest way to start burning through money. You started mentioning about the idea of checking in with your grocery store about what's on sale, what they're doing, and when I think is is that you can shop online, so you can at least, you may not shop online, but you can at least see the prices, see what's on sale, or the app. Talk a little bit about how those tools can be helpful with planning, and also checking out savings opportunities.
For sure. Gone are the days of having to buy the Sunday paper and sit down for an entire afternoon to figure out what's going to be on sale. Different grocery stores will release their ads at different times, but they usually list them online, no problem. You go on, you just flip through the pages, and very often they have a feature where you can add items from the ad to your list, and then you just have a list already created. So you don't even have to worry about literally making a paper list anymore if you don't want to. And if you happen to use the store's app, there's usually some carryover there too. So if you create a list online while you're skimming the ad, then when you go to use the app later, it's already there for you. And if you're really fortunate, it'll tell you what aisle to find it on too. So it can simplify the process a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so important to stick to that list, get in and get it done. You don't want to be picking up those what do they call them? But the things that catch our eye, that add to that grocery bill.
Those impulse purchases,
Yes, that's the
especially the
word.
things on the end caps that they're trying to highlight. It's like, yeah, that snack cake really does look good, but I do not need that.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about other technology. First, I want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about dealnews.com, what you guys do, how you can help people save, and then maybe some of the apps and things that you find to be helpful.
Sure. So the great thing about Deal News is that we have a live team of curators, so real people that scour the internet every day looking for the best deals. So we don't have just automated things from bots that are saying, "Oh, this is a good deal," when it's not. So our curators will actually evaluate these deals and then tell you why they're a good deal. Sometimes it's because it's the best price we've ever seen, and sometimes it's because it's list price, but this thing has been out of stock for so long that now you can finally get your hands on it, so it's totally worth doing. So we definitely have a leg up there because we do have people evaluate things in real time. But in addition to that, we offer services like being able to create a deal alert. So if you're looking for a particular item, especially a big ticket item, you don't want to overpay. Once you find the model of the TV or the washer and dryer combo or refrigerator or whatever that you're looking for, you can set up a deal alert with as much criteria or as little criteria as you want. And then we will send you an email notification when we list a deal that matches it. So if you go really broad, then you're probably going to get a lot of emails about the deals. And if you go very specific, then you're probably only going to get a few here and there whenever we list something that matches it. So I definitely love Deal News, obviously, for for the ability to shop for anything like that. And I also work on the blog side of things where we write a lot of buying guides. So if you've been wondering, when is the best time to buy certain major appliances? When is the best time to buy a mattress? We have you covered there with those things too.
Yeah, I love your side. I think you guys do a fantastic job, and your expertise on so many things is fantastic. So I'm always really pleased to get a chance to talk with you. Are there grocery apps or shopping apps that you feel are helpful when it comes to saving on groceries?
I Definitely. I will say if you're looking for things at Amazon, on Deal News, we will highlight subscribe and save offers sometimes, but I also realize that some people don't necessarily want to subscribe and save and have regular shipments coming to them, especially if it gets ahead of them and you don't necessarily need them when they send it to you. But if you're just kind of shopping normally, I am a big believer in using Ibotta, which is an app and a browser extension now. When they first started out, they were pretty much just a grocery store app, and you would go in and save offers and then shop like normal, and you just upload a picture of your receipt as proof that you made these purchases. And that's still true, but they also have a browser extension. So if you are shopping for things like groceries online, you may be able to actually get some cash back that way as well. So it's definitely gotten bigger and it's so easy to use. I don't know why anyone wouldn't. But there's also an alternative app, Checkout 51, which does basically the same thing. It has offers for you to redeem on groceries, but they also offer cash back on gas now too, which with gas prices climbing, might be leaning a little more towards that one. It depends on how much you drive. For me, I don't drive all that often, so it's not a big deal. So I'm still feeling the Ibotta love, but they're both great apps.
Yeah, they sound fantastic. Touching on the gas topic, because a number of grocery stores have loyalty programs. When you shop there for your groceries, then you get that gas discount. I know, some people might be reluctant to join that just because they don't want to be tracked their purchases, giving up that little bit of privacy. But I think it's such an easy way for people to save on their gas as well. That they sometimes you can get it, right there at the grocery store.
Yeah, I realize that people may be very privacy conscious, but I also think if you're online, you're probably being tracked 2 ways to Sunday or whatever. So,
Right, yeah.
like, I think it's sort of a part of life, which is a really dangerous trap to fall into. Obviously, we want to protect our privacy, but I do think that when it comes to loyalty programs with stores, very often they're the lesser of all the evils because while they may be sort of watching what you purchase, that pays off for you in the end because they're not selling that information because they want you to keep shopping with them. So they're taking, your buying habits and then they're sending you offers that are tailored to those buying habits basically to try to get you to spend more. So, if you have something that you repeatedly buy, it's actually a good thing to do to sign up for those loyalty programs and it pays off in more ways than you would think. But yeah, part of the draw is definitely with gas savings because stores like Kroger will offer fuel savings based on, how often you shop and how much you spend and things like that. But even outside of that, I would say if you have a warehouse membership to like Costco or Sam's Club, very often they will have lower gas prices than the standard gas stations in the surrounding area. So if you can fill up there, that's a good way to save at the pump too.
Yeah, my next question was going to be about the wholesale clubs. What would be your advice for determining whether the membership is worth it for you and your family in terms of saving for groceries? How do you go about kind of, we've talked about this before, but how do you go about kind of, figuring out, is it going to be worth it for me to pay the membership and then reap more savings than that over the course of the year?
Right. So it is just me and my husband. We are a two-person household, four if you count the cats, but they don't necessarily eat all the things that we buy at the warehouse clubs. So, but I will say most of the time, I think a warehouse club membership is well worth it, even if you don't necessarily take advantage of a lot of the fresh groceries or things like that. And to be fair, like buying a ton of fresh produce can backfire if you don't eat it quickly enough. So if you have to throw things like that out because you're just not able to eat them quickly enough, then yeah, that's kind of, wasting money. But usually these warehouse clubs offer such excellent prices on things like meat and pantry staples and paper products and even like health and wellness goods too that it's so worth it more often than not to get the membership. I will say if you are a single person or you're living in a small space and you just don't have the room to store excess product, it might not be the best buy or if you're having to drive like really far out of the way. So I know when we were living in Auburn, we had a Costco that was like an hour away across the state line into Georgia. So we still had the membership, but we only made that trip like once a month and we made sure to make it count.
Yeah.
So if you have to drive that far, it may not be worth it. For us, it was. It was much better than having to go to the one grocery store that was nearby and pay those prices all the time without shopping around. So I do think that for the most part, a warehouse club membership is going to be well worth it for most people.
Yeah, and big savings, like those are pretty much the cheapest prices on gas usually.
Definitely. I can say, especially in our area lately, that yeah, Costco is one of the cheaper places to get gas right now.
Yeah, that's why I always see the huge lines
Yep,
of people
exactly.
filling up. Yeah, you choose your timing wisely on that. Let's talk a little bit more about coupons. You were mentioning that, obviously if you use the grocery store app, that's going to show you coupons or, deals that they're having. I think like, and you talked about the days of cutting coupons out of a newspaper, and that, even for me, that was, the time investment has always been like, how much time do I want to, invest? These days, obviously, people are looking for any way to save. But so, do you have any further advice? If you are going to try and search out coupons, use coupons to try and cut down on the grocery bill?
I think your best bet is probably leave the Sunday paper in the corral where it belongs, unless you just really love to read it, and then search out the specific stores. So, stores like Publix, Kroger, Target, they're all gonna have discounts online, usually coupons that you just save to your account, and then you can pay with the app, and it usually redeems them automatically. Or, you can check it out. Maybe it's tied to your phone number so that all you have to do is punch that in when you're checking out in the store too. But either way, I would say that's probably going to be one of the best ways to go. And if you like to shop around, have a few stores that you'll check out for the same products, because obviously one week one of them is going to have a great sale while the other one is best. So I would say, look for those online, especially for things like Publix and Kroger. They like to tie coupons to their loyalty programs, so you can go in and save them and then just redeem them, no problem. And Target's the same way. If you join Target Circle, it's totally free. And then they come out with new offers every Sunday. And so rather than me sitting in front of a paper, I'd sit in front of my computer screen and scroll through, hundreds of offers from Target to see if there's anything I want to save. But I mean, there are some manufacturers' coupons to be had. If there are brands that you're particularly interested in, sign up for the newsletters. It's really interesting how often these brands will send out, even like a modest amount of savings on a coupon. Sometimes it's 50 cents off when you buy like 3 of this yogurt or something like that. Or, sometimes it's less, but they will send these coupons to their newsletter subscribers, and then you can take those into any grocery store that accepts manufacturer's coupons and save extra. If you can stack it with a weekly sale, even better.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about rewards credit cards that can give you that cash back or and discount for grocery shopping. What are your thoughts on using those? And of course, also, I guess the key is you got to pay it off too, so that you're not paying a higher interest rate.
Very true. I am a firm believer in paying off your credit card bill before it can accrue interest. I realize not everyone is going to have that ability, but if you can, do it. I also use a rewards credit card for basically every purchase. We have one that we got through Costco, and they have really good cashback rates. And so we see that cashback in the form of a couple of different vouchers, which we then turn around and can either cash out at Costco or use them for purchases in store. So we can make a huge epic trip and have so much taken off depending on how much we spent the previous year. But
Right.
I will say that their cashback credit cards are so common now. Occasionally, you may see rewards credit cards that have you redeem points or earn points for certain purchases, and that's fine. But I would say if you travel frequently, try to find one that has a good rate that also lets you earn frequent flyer miles. And if you just want cash back, there's an option out there for everybody, I swear. So just start checking into what their rates are. Very often they will offer, 1, 2, 3% on things like groceries, gas, dining out. So basically, all of your purchases will definitely count, and you can make your dollar go a little bit further.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Lastly, let's kind of just talk about in-store shopping versus online shopping. I think the advantage of shopping online is it does kind of prevent some of those impulse purchases, but some, may have a delivery fee or what have you. What are your thoughts on choosing one or the other and ways to save with that?
So I think one way to shop online and kind of save is to opt for pickup if you can. Some stores are offering it just of their own volition now, but you can also use services like Instacart to do grocery pickup now if you want to. The biggest thing I would say is if you're shopping online, you have to be okay relinquishing control, because you are not going to be the one to pick out the produce or the meat or whatever. You're relying on that shopper, whether they're employed by Instacart or by the store you're shopping at or whatever. So if you have to be in control of everything, I would say online shopping is not for you. But if you do shop in store, you're going to save on those delivery fees, of course, and it's going to be a little bit more of a time investment. But if you can stick to your list, you may not have to worry about impulse purchases, and you will get to pick out the best items that you can find. So you're not going to have a delivery and then wonder, is this the best they could do? Was this the best? So I think that there are definitely merits for both. I think in store is probably one of the easiest ways to save financially. But like I said, you will be spending more time in there, especially depending on how long your list is. So it kind of is a little bit of a trade off. And shopping online is great as long as you don't mind paying for the delivery fees or then having to go out and like pick up your groceries. But I do think that shopping online and opting for curbside pickup is a good kind of mix of the two.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like I was mentioning before, the nice thing is you can see the prices right there. And so maybe you'll choose to make a substitution, lower cost cut of meat or something like that while you're doing your planning right then.
Exactly. That is one good thing when you use these services. And even if it's through the store and not through a delivery service, you have the opportunity to allow for replacements. And if there's something that you're like, no, I got to have this or it's nothing, then you can just opt for a refund. But obviously, if you're counting on something and then they can't find it, then you've made this whole trip for nothing. So I do recommend having some kind of a backup in place. I can't tell you how many times I've placed a grocery delivery order only to be like, oh, this one thing that I really needed. Now I got to make another order, which is probably what they're banking on, but
Right. Well, you have given us a plethora of ideas of ways that we can save on groceries. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Again, this is Julie Ramhold for everybody watching. She's an expert with dealnews.com, a consumer analyst, and she's one of my favorites to talk about ways to save on so many things. So it's such a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you, Julie.
this was great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you again soon. All right. And thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Please continue to send me notes on Facebook or Instagram, or just send me an email off of fox26houston.com website. We'd love to hear more about ways that you're looking to save money, issues that you're having. Every week, we'll meet right back here to talk about ways to cut down the spending, save you some money, and help you get through this period and hopefully land a little better on your feet at the end, little smarter about spending money as well. So thanks for being with us, and we will see you next time.